What if you could stop a deadly genetic disease in its tracks with a test that costs just a few bucks and works in minutes? Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, today we're going to dive into a groundbreaking new screening method that does exactly that for a really dangerous but often hidden genetic condition. All right, so here's how we're going to break it down. First, what's this hidden threat we're talking about? Then we'll look at why the current best test, well, isn't so great for the job. After that, we'll get into the new test itself, this simple little strip. We'll see how it held up under pressure, and then wrap up with what this could mean for the whole world. Okay, so first things first. To really get why this new test is such a big deal, we need to talk about the condition it's designed to catch. It's called alpha thalassemia. So what is it? Basically, it's an inherited condition, something that gets passed down in families, and it messes with hemoglobin. That's the protein in your red blood cells that's responsible for carrying oxygen all around your body. Now, a lot of forms are pretty mild, but there's one specific type, alpha thalassemia 1, and that's the one that poses a really serious risk. And here's where it gets really dangerous. The problem is when two people who are both carriers of this gene, and usually have absolutely no idea, have a child together. That can lead to a condition called Hb Bart's hydrops fatalis, and it's just devastating. It's a severe form of the disease that's almost always fatal for the baby, either before or right after birth. And on top of that, it can cause incredibly serious, even life-threatening complications for the mother. So you can see it's basically a genetic lottery. Imagine a couple who are both carriers. For every single pregnancy, there's a 25% chance, a 1 in 4 roll of the dice, that their child will inherit both copies of the gene and have this fatal condition. That's why prevention is absolutely everything. The whole game is about finding these carriers before they start a family, so they have the information they need to make choices. So the path forward seems obvious, right? We just need to screen people. But there's a huge problem. Our best diagnostic tool, the one everyone calls the gold standard, is just not cut out for the job. You see, the best test we have is based on PCR. And don't get me wrong, for diagnosing someone you already suspect has an issue, it's incredibly accurate. But for mass screening, no way. It's super expensive, it takes days to get results, and you need a sophisticated lab with trained technicians to run it. It's just totally impractical for screening millions and millions of people, especially in parts of the world where this condition is a major public health issue. So what do? How do you bridge that gap? Well, a team of researchers came up with a solution that is just brilliant in its simplicity. And it's inspired by a piece of tech you might have in your own bathroom cabinet. The key, the real aha moment, was finding a unique biological marker. Turns out, people who carry that high-risk gene have these tiny little traces of an abnormal type of hemoglobin in their blood. It's called Hb Bart, or just Hb Barts. It's like a little flag that says, hey, the gene is here. And this is where it gets so cool. They built a test for this marker on what's called an IC strip. And the process is unbelievably simple. You take a drop of blood, you mix it with a little liquid, you dip the strip in, and you wait. Sound familiar? It should. It works exactly like a home pregnancy test. 1 line means negative, 2 lines means positive. It's that easy. Okay, so it's simple, it's fast. But here's the million-dollar question. Does it actually work? I mean, is it accurate enough to trust with something this important? To find out, they put it to the ultimate test. They ran a big double-blind study. They got almost 600 blood samples from all sorts of people they knew were carriers, people who were healthy, people with other types of the disease. And they tested every single sample with both the new strip and the gold standard PCR test to see how they compared. And the results? Honestly, they were stunning. For finding carriers of that really dangerous gene, the test had 100% sensitivity. Let's just let that sink in for a second. 100%. That means it did not miss a single person who was a carrier. Not one. For a screening test, that is the most critical thing. You absolutely cannot have false negatives. You can't tell someone they're in the clear when they're not. And this test, it delivered. Now, if you look at the whole picture, the specificity was about 86%. What does that mean? It means that some people, about 14%, who don't have the gene might get a positive result, a false positive. But you know what? For cheap, fast, first-pass screening test, that is a fantastic trade-off. Because here's the strategy, right? You use this simple, inexpensive test on everybody. If you get a negative result, great. You can be really confident you're not a carrier. You're done. It's only that small group of people who test positive that then need to get the expensive, slow PCR test to confirm it. It's like a giant funnel. You filter out the vast majority of people quickly and cheaply, and only focus your expensive resources on the few who actually need it. So let's zoom out. What's the real-world impact here? Because we're talking about something way bigger than just a clever lab result. This is about to change everything. I mean, just look at the comparison. You go from a slow, super expensive process that's stuck in a high-tech lab to a test that costs maybe $3, gives you an answer in minutes, and can be used in a rural clinic or even out in the field. This isn't just an improvement, it's a complete game changer. This is how you make prevention a reality for millions of people. And I think this quote from the research team just says it all perfectly. The goal isn't to replace the best test, it's to reduce the need for it. It's such a smart, elegant way of thinking about the problem. And that really leaves you thinking, doesn't it? It's this incredible reminder that sometimes the biggest breakthroughs in global health don't come from some multi-million-dollar machine. They come from radical simplicity. It just makes you wonder, how many other huge problems out there are just waiting for an equally simple, brilliant solution?